Hello everybody, and thanks so much for joining. Today I am at Hildene House. They are actually closed today, but they invited me to come back so that I could vlog my experience with you guys. So I am beyond excited to be able to share this with you, and I hope that you take the time to come see it for yourself because it's a truly special spot. Hildene House is the summer home of former President Lincoln's son, Robert Todd Lincoln. 3 generations of Lincolns lived in this home until it was donated to the Church of Science, who then sold it to the Friends of Hildene, who were actually friends of Peggy Lincoln, the last surviving family member. The Friends of Hildene, they all joined together and turned this place into what it is today. They've done a remarkable job. Very stately entrance. It's about 3/4 of a mile down the road here. This is the view as you are pulling up. Talk about stately. When you pull in, you're going to see this sign, dedication. So we are currently making our way up to the house. It's a really pretty little pathway, and we're going to be passing by the construction that I just spoke with Catherine about. I guess they are making a new events building for those weddings. So brides, let me tell you, this is the perfect place to have a wedding. It's a fairy tale, so you'll see. And there's a shot of some of the construction right up next to the gift shop and welcome center. Love it. I actually came back in December and there was a little bit of snow on the ground. Very picturesque. And they've got these cool little signs here to tell you which way to go. You can visit the Pullman Car, or you can go up to the main house, the gardens, or the farm. We've got the front yard, the observatory. Yes, they have an observatory. We'll get a closer peek in a little bit. And then the big, beautiful estate. Look at this pretty entrance. So when you first enter the house, you're greeted by this beautiful clock that is original. And we've heard it chime a few times. This is the clock that's chiming, right?
Yes.
This beautiful staircase, and you wouldn't know it unless you were told, which I have been, but there's just under 1,000 organ pipes hidden behind those wooden walls right there, which is pretty cool. And here's a peek at those pipes hidden in the walls. And of course, organ pipes don't make sense without an actual organ. And here we have, built into the house, an electric pneumatic organ that self-plays. So our fabulous current docent today is Jessie, and she's gonna give us a brief rundown of the family tree.
Okay, so here in the back we have what I would say are 2 pretty recognizable figures, Abraham Lincoln and his wife Mary Todd Lincoln. And in front here is Robert Lincoln, and he is the person who built this home. He is the eldest of President Lincoln's 4 sons and the only one of those 4 to survive to adulthood. And next to him here is his wife, Mary Harlan. She was the daughter of a prominent Iowa senator and grew up in very similar Washington social circles as Robert. And they end up being married for 58 years before he passes away. And then on the other side, we have their children and grandchildren.
Sure, I get it all in there.
So here in the back, we have their eldest daughter, who is named Mary, but they called her Mamie. There were already quite a few Marys in this family. And Mamie gets married to a man named Charles Isham, and they have one son, Lincoln Isham. Lincoln Isham ends up living down the road in Dorset, Vermont. He gets married, but he never has any children. So when he dies in 71, that is the end of this line. Robert and Mary go on to have one son, who they named Abraham Lincoln II, but they called him Jack. The idea being you really have to live up to the name Abraham Lincoln II before somebody's going to call you that. But unfortunately, Jack died at 16 from blood poisoning, so he does not go on to have any children, and never comes to Hildene, of course, for that same reason. And then their youngest daughter was named Jessie. She was sort of the wild child of the family, I would say. She ends up marrying a total of 3 times, only has children with her first husband, which was a man named Warren Beckwith. So she has 2 kids who are here in the front. Oh, and there's the grandfather clock in the background. Their daughter, they of course named Mary, because there weren't enough Marys in this family, but they called her
why
Peggy.
not?
Yes, exactly. They called her Peggy. And Peggy is the last one to live here at Hildene. She inherits the home in 1938, lives here full time until she dies in 1975. And then she never marries, never has kids, and so her brother becomes the last Lincoln. His name was Robert Lincoln Beckwith. They called him Bud. And he dies in 1985. He had married, but he never had kids. And so he becomes the last of the Lincolns. There are no more direct descendants of President Lincoln.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's the family.
Like, you just expect the line to
just
keep going on.
Yeah.
And this is the parlor, you said?
This is the parlor, where you would be received if you were a guest visiting Hildene. Which they didn't do a lot of entertaining, but if you were being brought here, you would, come in here before you started. And then Peggy used this as her TV room when she later lived here.
Which is so weird to think about. So here we've got Robert's bedroom. And Jesse and I were actually just discussing that this is where he actually died at the age of 83, was it?
Almost 83.
Almost 83. He was temporarily buried at the cemetery down the road, which I'll show you on my way out, before being moved to Arlington Cemetery.
So this is Robert at 78, so this is 5 years before he passes away, and this was commissioned by the Aquatic Country Club, which is the country club next door that he golfed at every single day, and he was the 3rd president of the club, and so they commissioned this portrait. And I really like it because it's painted of him here in the library, and you can see the books and everything behind him, and you get a real sense of him here in his space at Hildene, copied and stored in this room.
This is just so cool. So you've got the secretary's office, which is not heated because it was part of the wraparound porch originally, you said.
Yep.
And then this is one of the last major changes he made to the house. The dining room, it's definitely one of my favorite rooms in this house. For
me,
sure.
the best part is definitely the wallpaper.
It's, yes.
This is one of the few rooms with original wallpaper. It was done in the late 30s by the eldest daughter, and she picked it out because I think it really reflected the Vermont landscape, and it's a French applique, so it's laid here in 3 layers. You have the background as 1 layer, the hills as a 2nd layer, and the trees and foliage are a 3rd layer, so it gives it an almost 3D effect.
What is beautiful. And I mean, the camera does it no justice.
So you push that button and the bell's gonna ring saying, oh, do I need something in the dining room?
Call button, guys.
Or not to 1905, it's 1930s.
So the fridge, 1930s, so not original.
But all of the china in these cupboards are china that belonged to the family.
Which is very cool. And this is the butler's pantry. Got the kitchen. So fun fact for you, if you scan this QR code, you'll find the recipe for Mary Harlan's, you said white cake?
White cake.
So we've got the butler's room here. And his bathroom is actually located below us.
In the basement.
In the basement. So you've got the staff dining in here.
Imagine the grandchildren playing on it.
Yes, so the dumbwaiter Peggy had electrified. And it works. It still works. That's pretty crazy. So it goes all the way from the basement up
To the attic.
to the attic. So we've got the staff stairs, which they would use versus the formal staircase.
They had a lot in common. Robert and Taft were both secretaries of war. They were both Republicans. But truly, most importantly, they both loved to golf.
Golfers.
So, yes, that is what they are doing here at Hildene, is golfing.
So this is the guest bedroom, and we were just discussing how President Taft is one of the most famous visitors. I just can't get over this gorgeous entryway. It's like every woman's dream, the perfect linen closet. And here we've got Mary Harlan's bedroom with the perfect canopy bed. Again, the perfect view. And this pretty little fireplace. So next to Mary's room and Peggy's room, we have the grandchildren's room. So Peggy and Bud would have stayed in here when they were younger. And this decoupage piece is original, which is pretty cool. Storybook pages. So we have to call out, because when I came here the first time, I actually goofed. When you come into this exhibit, you're going to see the entrance here to the second inaugural. And what is not well known is that these numbers up on the wall are parts of the speech, and they're meant to be read and followed for each of the exhibit pieces. So fun fact for you. Mirror is actually Abraham Lincoln's mirror from his dressing room, which was probably the very last mirror that he looked into before his assassination. And then just below is the beautiful, all too well-known stovepipe hat. And there's only 3 of these left. We're going to brag. This one's in best condition. So another very special call out for this room is Abraham Lincoln's Bible. So in the back area, got this beautiful cliff face and like the view of all views. And this is actually the view that you get if you do your wedding here. View of the garden from ground level and the back of the beautiful estate. To the side of the house, we have where the men's quarters would have been for the staff, but it's now the bridal suite when you do your wedding here. And they created this beautiful deck here so that you can access easily accessible restrooms. And a view of it from the outside. It's quite the little building with an incredible view. Look at that. So inside, you can see the roof is actually on wheels so that you can turn it to whichever way you want to look and open up the hatch here for the perfect view. Look at this mammoth. It's enormous. So we've been walking from the main house and we are headed towards the Sunbeam. So this is a 1903 Pullman car, and it's not Robert's personal, but they searched high and low to find a perfect example of what he would have been using. So let's go look. Like a moving mansion.
Hotel on wheels.
Hotel on wheels, for sure.
Favorite parts of the Many Voices exhibit is this chalkboard here. One of our missions here at Hildene is to encourage civic discourse. And so as people wrap up the exhibit, they're confronted here with a chalkboard with all sorts of questions that really challenge them to think critically about the contents of the exhibit. And so people write all sorts of things here, have all sorts of conversations, and before we erase the chalk every day, we take a photo. So we have everyone's responses recorded, and we're really looking at those conversations happening over time.
Close view of the current chalkboard status. So you have the perfect view, since you're always at the back of the train. And look at the sitting area. It's just lovely. And here's a view of the stateroom set up for daytime. These beautiful wood panels pull down into a bed, and it sleeps two. And a bit of nighttime view for you. If it was all pulled down. Got your sink. And there's a toilet in the corner too. So you get everything you need right there. Gotta point out the emergency brake here, because I was just asking Jesse what on earth this rope was. So sleeps 12. You've got your dining area. It seems like a nice big room, but I can't imagine all the people in here at the same time. So these beautiful little things right here actually serve a purpose. And you can see that over here. They actually pop out like little night lights. Yeah, so no bathtubs or showers, but it's a nice roomy bathroom for sure. Pretty little stained glass window. With the mirror and sink to boot. So Jesse just pointed out that the color here indicates that we are now in the porter section, which I love the color coding. That's smart. But this is where the two porters would share a space and trade off shifts. So one of the porters would have been a trained chef, and all of the cooking for everybody would have been done in this tiny little space right in here while they're moving. And where are the chefs gonna get their food? Out of the little ice box. They have space for everything, and everything is well utilized space-wise for sure. And of course the exit and back of the car. This is amazing. I'm so glad that I was able to come back. This is such a beautiful place, and I really hope that you guys get out and come see it for yourself, because video and pictures do it no justice. It is phenomenal. It is, I keep saying it's a mouth-watering, breathtaking experience. And I do have a massive call out to all of the staff here. Everybody has been amazing, so knowledgeable, helpful, and really passionate, which is refreshing to see. I don't think there's a site like any other. And look at the view, the snow-capped mountains. While you're here, be sure to check out the gift shop. There's a little something for everyone in here. And I love this little homage Of course, Robert loved his golfing, so they've got some golfing stuff for the gentleman. And the cutest little display ever on this cart. You can purchase the cheese that's produced here, right on the farm. Look at this beautiful ornament. Oh, it's so pretty. And syrup made from the trees right here on Hildene property. These rail splitter cap packages include the pattern and wool necessary to make these adorable rail splitter caps. How cool is that? A selection of yarn from the farm and kids' shirts. Cute little patterns. So they have 2 farms on property. They have a goat dairy and they have the Dene farm. It's about a mile down, and then you can walk to the goat dairy. And she said it's about a 15-minute walk, and I would totally do it, but I have to get back to get my kids. So we're gonna skip that today. All the more reason for you to come on your own because there's so much to do and see. 1 week from today, we'll be in Disney. So stay tuned for all that we have coming, and like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Travel Pixie Style. I couldn't resist. I got myself one of the knitters kits for the rail splitter cap. My husband's gonna make fun of me, but not only does it sound so much fun, I think it was so cute. I can't wait to make it. Great value, fun little project.